All right, hello everybody and welcome to the LifePod with Jeremy. This is a show that brings to you quality conversations about governance, life and leadership. And we are glad that you are watching us. And today we have one of our leaders in Kajiado County. He is a man, a doctor. And today we have none other than the former Kajiado County Governor, His Excellency Dr. David Nkedianye. Daktari, karibu sana.
Asante sana.
Karibu sana to the show.
Asante.
And thank you for making time for us.
Thank you.
Karibu to the show. This is the show that discusses leadership, governance and life. And we believe that we are going to have a good time with you today. As we begin, maybe can you tell us just in a nutshell who Daktari is?
I am Dr. David Nkedianye, the first governor of Kajiado County. I am, I don't know how far back you want me to talk about, but...
Yeah. Just give us a nutshell of maybe from your life, professional life and leadership as well.
I've been a teacher. I was Mashuru, Mashuru Secondary, and I have studied sociology, education, and human ecology at PhD level. And I was a governor in Kajiado, and I did the first, difficult, rough chopping of bushes in this county just to set up the structures. And since then, I have before become the chairman of the Water Harvesting and Storage Authority, and then now I'm the current chairman of the Wildlife Research and Training Institute. And here I am, and now I'm looking forward to becoming a senator in Kajiado.
Well, tell us about your rise to the county leadership in 2013?
Yeah, in 2013, and it came a bit surprisingly because I was working with the African Wildlife Foundation as a manager, a project manager, and I just finished my PhD some years back, and then some people came up with this idea of who is going to really help us set up the structures in this county, and there was a debate. It was being led by teachers, and eventually they gave a suggestion that they thought I would be that person who would do a good job. And we did a number of meetings, and then I made a decision to run, and we started the campaigns, and for a year we campaigned, and then in 2013 I was elected to be the first governor of Kajiado County.
What was at stake when you became the governor in terms of setting up the structures? As you said, it was the very first county government under the new constitution. What were the challenges that you went through as first governor?
Like many other governors who are beginners or the people who did the groundwork, because nobody really knew how counties was supposed to be ran. We actually had the transition authority that helped us put structures for 2 years. So for the first 2 years, we had the transition authority that came in to help us to set up the structures, the payroll and transfer of money from the treasury to the county treasury, setting up the county treasury, employing the key people, then employing the CECMs and the CEOs and all that. And it wasn't easy, but we got quite some support from the national government through the Transition Authority. And what followed is what we actually did and how we interacted with our county assemblies. The assemblies were there to set up rules, but they were also a bit blank at the beginning. They had to be trained. They had to be, taken to workshops so that they can learn how things are done. And so things were a bit slow at the beginning. However, if you look at what really happened is that after the first 2 years or 1.5 years, quite a number of things had taken off. And we had a lot of interaction between the national government, the Council of Governors, and the Transition Authority. And that helped, that kind of sharing really helped to hasten the process. However, if you look at different counties, it depends on how well they worked with their assemblies. And my assembly in Kajiado was actually really, really troublesome, because for some reason I didn't have enough MCAs on my side. I had 3 MCAs out of 41, 2 elected and 1 nominated. And so I was in the opposition in ODM, and it kind of brought a big problem. And so quite a number of things went slowly. For example, I remember it took me 10 months to employ my first CM.
10 months?
10 months. So for 10 months, we didn't have a CCM. We were just running up and down. And it's because I could put together a list, and when you take them to the assembly was so hostile, they would throw everything out. And they kept doing that for several of those CCMs whose names I presented, until at some point we agreed on something. And they started coming in slowly, one at a time. And then we later on got the CEOs. So we had a lot of challenges, but we overcame those challenges, because we got to learn how to go around it and how to choose our fights, so we didn't fight all the time. Sometimes we avoided the fights, and sometimes we fought smarter.
Comparing your now the CCM, after 10 months you said you were able to set up your cabinet. Comparing your cabinet with maybe the subsequent cabinets in the current regime, how would you describe quality in comparison?
I actually want to say that we took a lot of time to look at quality, and we asked seasoned local people to come here and help us. I put together a team of seasoned administrators, seasoned and experienced people to help us even put together a public service board that would really help in scanning through and saying, these CVs look very good, this one doesn't look very good, and so that we could have some people to interview. And if you look at the quality of the people we hired, it was actually quite good. I haven't seen any comparison. For the next the 10 years after I left, I actually haven't seen anything close to that. Whether you're talking about the county public service board or the county assembly board, all those structures, if you look at that, you look at the CCMs, the 10 of them, and we had 12 CEOs. There were not as many as they are now, but the quality was quite good. We looked for experienced people, people with degrees.
You had some doctors, some engineers in your cabinet?
Yeah, we had quite a number of engineers, and even my chief of staff, I got one from Narok. I got Dr. Kirei he was also in Narok, and I got them here. I got him here to come and deal with the county secretary position. And I had a lot of problems actually even giving him that job, because the MCAs were up in arms and they didn't like that. I had also, for example, the secretary to the County Public Service Board. I got him all the way from Kwale. And so I really tried to get very good people who are really experienced and who could give service to the county.
Did that attract attacks on you? Because maybe people would say that you do not employ people from the county?
No, not much, because it's only my chief of staff I got from Narok. He was from Narok, but Dr. Kirei is a local person from this county. Yeah. Even the guy I got from Lamu is also a local person. Yes. It's only that I knew that he had the requisite credentials, and so I got him from there. And he had applied also, of course. I wasn't just asking people to come, but we would scan through all those applications and see that we have very competent people.
Recently, more than 27,000 workers in 41 counties were employed irregularly. As governor, did you use the right procedure to employ, or yours is the poor system that the current regime is riding on?
Everything was procedural. Everything was procedural, and I actually shudder at the kind and the level of mediocrity that I see. People being picked without qualifications, and little do people know that it's actually going to boomerang at some point. It's going to boomerang. If you get people who don't have proper qualifications, people who are doing jobs that they are not suited to, we didn't go that way. We actually made sure that the people we hired were best qualified for those positions. Yeah.
Dr. David Nkedianye, the former governor of Kajiado County, the first governor of Kajiado County, here in the show, explaining to us his style of leadership and his successes as well as challenges. Dr. How much was being channeled to the county from the exchequer, and how did you utilize it as governor in terms of development?
It's not very easy right now to remember the exact figures. It's quite some while ago.
Is it around 3 billion or something?
But I think it's about 4 billion, and when we left it was something like 5 point something. And I remember, there is a rule of thumb that is usually proposed as best practice.
Yes.
That 30% of the money you get should go to salaries.
30%?
Yeah, capped at 30%. And then another 30% should go to operations and maintenance.
That's 60%.
And then the remaining
40
should go to development. And we actually followed that a lot. For example, I remember that we used to put, we set aside about 1.5 billion shillings for development. And we had about 3 billion going to both recurrent and operations and maintenance. And the 1.5 billion, we did like 40 million shillings per ward, and that adds up to about 1 billion shillings, and we had about 500 million shillings left for flagship projects. The flagship projects were like the library, we were building at the headquarters, and the stadium in Ngong, the bus park in Kitengela, those big projects that do not necessarily need to rely on the ward money.
Yes.
But that was actually money with a lot of impact, because 40 million shillings per ward just added up to about 1 billion. It's not really about, but exactly 1 billion. And when you put in 40 million shillings in a ward, and then you ask people to do public participation and prioritize their problems, you realize that you can do a lot of ECD classrooms, you can do a borehole here and there, and you can do a small dispensary somewhere, or equip a dispensary or something like that. So the impact was huge, and that led to us having a lot of projects everywhere. Every ward had an equal amount of money, and that is why if you go to Mosiro, you will find that with their share of money, they prioritized what they wanted, whether it's a borehole, whether it's a hospital, whether it's a road, and there was development there. And it's the same in Namanga, and the same in Jukini, and everywhere.
Right now, the public participations that we see being done, they seem to just be for formalities, because after all, even the projects sometimes they end up not existing, or you find that the priorities are upside down. How did you manage to do all these projects with such an amount of money compared to what we are getting now as a county, and what is being done wrong?
Because I understood devolution.
Yes.
I understood devolution, and I'm a strong believer of devolution. For many years, this country has not been able to decentralize, and everything was done from Jogoo House. And when people started agitating for the new constitution, that's the kind of problem they were seeing. You cannot expect somebody at Orgulului or somebody at Shompole to go to Jogoo House and have their classroom pinpointed from there, and then they are told, wait and we'll give you a classroom. The MPs used to be the ones, following the ministers and, to get those classrooms.
Yes.
When these resources were sent to the county, the spirit of the constitution is that you devolve even further.
Yes.
And how do you do it? You go to the lowest unit. And one of that unit that is manageable and has enough structures is the ward. Because a ward has a ward manager, a ward has an MCA. You at that level you can sit down, and people can sit down at ward level and say, our main problem is water and schools and whatever. So that's where we took the money. That was the reason behind our sending the 40 million shillings to the ward level. And then Wananchi can sit down and prioritize. And we took that seriously.
Yes.
And we went to the halls. I participated in many of those. Almost all of them. I actually was there to listen to what Wananchi was saying. And we followed up.
Yes.
And I had a cabinet meeting every Wednesday to follow up on what was happening, to see whether there were any drawbacks, any person was not doing their part. And I would personally call, whether it's procurement, to ask why things are stuck there, and whether it's public works, or the bills of quantities not done properly, or what was the problem. And the CECs knew, and the CEOs also knew that I was going to ask questions. And every time I saw delays, I followed up to see who could be creating that delay, and I flagged them out. So that kind of supervision and push is what really helped us to have everything being done at the ward level. And I can tell you, by the time I was leaving, we had so many projects that were due for opening that we could not even keep up with the pace. We left so many, without being launched.
So you were hands-on your CECs to make sure that there is service delivery.
Yes.
Currently, we are witnessing defiance and lack of cooperation and coordination within the county cabinet. Is that attributed to lack of touch by the governor?
It's not really defiance. It's I wouldn't call it defiance. I would call it accommodation for mediocrity. No CEC is above the law or the CEO or whoever. If the governor really believes that work should be done, the buck stops at his door. He should be able to fire anybody who is not playing game or move them. So he is at liberty to do that. This is part of management and part of leadership. You move people if you think they are not competent enough for that docket, or you can fire them, because the CEC is an appointee of the governor, and the CEO also. So these are the key people, and if they are not working, you move them or you fire them, and get proper people to do it. So that defiance, it's not really defiance. It's that the governor accommodates that kind of mediocrity and would want to give an excuse, but it doesn't wash. That doesn't wash.
The land issue in Kajiado. In your administration, you are so passionate about your advocacy against the sale of land, for example, and you once suspended the land transactions in Kajiado. What inspired that, and what is the status right now? Because we understand that the land issue in Kajiado right now is a sin of crime.
For some reason, some people thought that I was just against land sales, but that was not the case, because whichever way you look at it, it's actually difficult to stop people from selling what they own.
Yes.
And the market also allows for that, and the law also gives them a right to do that.
Yes.
However, if you have a very disorganized market, then it is cause for worry to leaders who really are serious. And what I was fighting at that time was the disorganization, the haphazard way of doing things at the land sector, because proper procedures were not being followed, and people just chopped out the land and sold it, and at the back you would find that they were not doing the proper processes, and that has brought an accumulation of so many problems. That is what I was fighting. I was trying to streamline the process so that if you have a title, then you know it is safe. Yes. Then you know that it is properly documented for. And if you have a plot, then we did documentation, we did validation, and then we digitized the process so that we would avoid duplication.
Yes.
Those were the things that we were trying to streamline. But of course, some few people who didn't like, and they were benefiting from that disorganization, went up and in arms and said, this guy is trying to stop land sales and all that. Nobody can really stop land sales.
Yes.
I was trying to streamline things so that we avoid duplication, we avoid fraud, and many other ills that were happening at that time. Yeah.
Recently, the court stopped the implementation of some land rates that were imposed on the residents by the governor. What do you make of that?
It's because some of those aspects that were being proposed were not in line with the law. And if you don't do public participation, if you don't involve people from whom you are going to collect those rates, then they have a right to come in and say, hey, you're not doing the right thing. So, but the world over, people have paid rates to governments, local authorities and all that. But there is a proper way of doing it, involving the people, and that's what now in the new constitution we call public participation. And it's a big issue, it's a very big issue. So if you flout those processes, then people have a right of going to court and stopping the process. So if it can be done right, I think it's okay, because people will know what is coming, and they will give suggestions of why they think it shouldn't be that way, and then there's a give and take. And a good government, a reasonable government, is supposed to listen and to be reasonable so that the rates are also not overbearing to the people. Yeah.
Governor, the issue of on-source revenue collection. It's been a menace in Kajiado, and it has been a source for enriching individuals in the county. How did you do on-source revenue collection, and how was its utilization compared to the current regime?
I haven't taken enough time to really study and go through what is happening right now, but from what I hear and the general knowledge we have is that it's a sham, that revenue is being collected and spent at source. And I think this is something that we grappled with when we came in, because before the county government, there was also the county council.
Yes.
And we had a lot of people who were in the previous system, and they had gotten used to that, collecting money and spending at source. Collection of own revenue is a tricky thing, because there's that money that comes from the exchequer, from national government, from what is shared across the counties, but you also have to top it up with what you collect. And all that money is what comes into your budget. So if you don't collect properly from your own sources, then it means that you will have a lot less money to spend on 190 issues. So we put in a system. Actually, we really worked hard. We tendered and we got a system to collect everything and to digitize everything so that you knew how much was coming from Loitoktok sub-county and Kajiado West and Kajiado Central and East and North and all that, so that you can sit somewhere and see on the dashboard, what is happening, and you can trace whatever is coming on a daily basis. And however, I know that a lot of people don't like that. The reason people fight those systems is because they want to be able to utilize that money. They want to use that money without it being seen in a common screen. And that is where the problem comes in now, because a lot of people are pocketing that money. It's not helping the people it's supposed to help. And that is how counties and governments fail. And if that continues, then you will have no services at all. You'll have few people enriching themselves with that money, and yet the proper services will not be seen at county level. And I think this is something that really needs to be fought. When we talk about going the Singapore way, going the first world way and whatever, those countries have worked very hard to seal the pilferage. They have disciplined their workers to know exactly that the money you collect is on behalf of the people of that county or country, and it should be channeled properly. Because at the end of the day, that's where your salary comes from. And that is where the drugs to the hospital come from. And then that's how the roads will be sorted out. So if you steal this money, then it means there will be no drugs and no good roads and no other services. So I actually pity the way I see things right now. And I actually think it's upon everybody in Kajiado to stand up and say no. Because if all of us keep quiet, then what it means is that we will not have a county in future. It's going to be a failed county. So whatever is happening now is not acceptable, because money is being spent all over by those people who collect it, and it's being spent raw, and it's not being channeled to the proper accounts so that it can be accounted for at the end of the day.
The World Bank has suspended some of the development projects in the county. How did you used to deal with these development partners compared to how this government is dealing with them? And why do you think such programs that are very beneficial to the county are being stopped because of lack of accountability?
There is wanton wastage, stealing, and it is actually a pity, because I think if there's something that leaders need to take care of, so strictly, it's money that is coming in as a grant from a development partner. Because that money comes to beef up what you have, to hasten development and services to the people. So if you mismanage that money, then what you are saying is actually that I don't need help. I don't even need to be supported. Yet there is no development on the ground. So it's a shame that has happened, but we saw it coming. We saw it. We were not surprised. We were actually wondering why it was taking too long, because even lay people, even wananchi, can see how the county is being ran, and we knew it was just a matter of time, and this will be blown out, because the World Bank money, and I'm sure they really tried to be cautious not to make that big decision about the stoppage. And I'm sure they didn't have an option. The misappropriation was so glaring that they had to stop the whole thing. And it's a shame on the leaders, because what that means is that these resources that were coming as a grant from the World Bank to support roads, to support enterprise, to support markets, to support women groups, and to support the youth in training them, in making sure that they learned new skills and they could come into cooperatives and sell their goods and services better. All that has been curtailed now because of poor leadership, because of people who think that they can squander what belongs to Mwananchi and get away with it.
Governor, why do you think Lenku was not willing to complete projects that you had initiated?
I don't know. I actually don't know. But I think it borders on political naivety. Because there's a way you can win without getting 100%. I think that is what he didn't realize. If you completed the library, if you completed the Ngong Stadium, and many others that we had started, you would be able to tell people, you would visit that library and say, this library was started by Daktari, and I found it halfway done or 70% done. I have done it, I have opened it, and I am now even giving you free Wi-Fi, you young people, and now you can come around here and use your phones and do what, and use the internet. Even if you don't get 100% of those marks, you can really stretch your 50%, because you are the person sitting on that seat now. But when you don't see that opportunity, when you don't take advantage of that,
it's political naivety.
It's just political naivety.
Because he was justified to do that in his first term. But now even in his second term, he's not seeking for any other term, but he still has not completed the projects.
Yeah, I think the strangest thing is that he hasn't completed those projects, and he hasn't started and finished others that he wanted to do. So what does that tell you? That he is not interested in what was done, he's not interested in doing anything new, so he's not interested in anything. His business is very different from what Wananchi expected a leader to do for them.
Has Devolution achieved its mandate, especially in Kajiado, according to you?
I think in Kajiado, we have been extremely unlucky. And I keep praying that we get better leaders, because I think it has been a big problem. If you imagine that with 4.5 billion shillings or thereabouts, we could do what we did, then you imagine how much more they could be doing with close to 13 billion shillings. It's a lot of money. Because if we were doing 40 million shillings per ward, you could easily allocate 100 million shillings in a ward. And that wouldn't be too much money. But the impact on the ground would be amazing. In fact, what we are talking about Singapore is actually doable. But it can only be pushed from the lowest units. The national government can work very hard to try and implement that. But going to Singapore must be done in unison. The governors, the MPs, the senators, the women reps, all of them must believe in that, so that we move in unison. Then we get to Singapore faster. But with the likes of what is being done in Kajiado, I think our dream to Singapore is going to be really, really slow. I actually think it's very bad that we have leaders who haven't seen the light. It's a lot of money, and it can do a lot. But the culture of thievery, people want to steal. They don't want to see any coin anywhere that belongs to the public. They imagine that anything around them is theirs. So they just want to go there and enrich themselves and their few friends. That is one big thing that is costing us a huge dream, of moving forward. Yeah.
Talk to me about Magadi, the company and the area people. What is the impact of Magadi to the residents of Kajiado? Because we know that recently there has been court cases between the county and the company, and the county, they lost both cases, I understand. There was a case involving, I don't know if it's 7 billion and the other 10 billion, and the county lost in both. What is happening in Magadi?
I wouldn't want to say a lot because so much has been said, but Magadi, for starters, has been a company that has been there since the last century. It has been there for a long time. It certainly has helped a lot of community members around there, and it's a very important resource. But that said, there's also the other side of it, that we actually don't think Magadi has done enough of what it should be doing. It should help the community more. It should be a lot more open, so that people know how they engage the communities and how they allocate jobs and how they allocate bursaries. Apart from that, they should increase that, because the demands have increased. They are sitting on a lot of land, and there's an opportunity cost. It's an opportunity cost. But the way we engaged with Magadi, because I actually engaged with them a lot, and I really wanted them to pay up what was due, and also to increase what they were paying. It's not easy to deal with Magadi, for a start. It's not easy. A big company, their work goes slowly, and it looks like some big bosses make decisions outside this country. But I don't think it's good to militarize the whole thing and make it a fight and stop things, stop processes, and then draw a wedge between the community and the company. What we need is sober leadership that is going to make sure that Magadi increases the benefits to communities, and communities are reasonable, so that if there is a span of time within which those benefits can be realized, then those timelines are adhered to. But just coming in and saying, driving in a tractor here and build there, you antagonize these people who have been together for a long time, and we cannot really say that the communities have not benefited from Magadi. They've benefited a lot. And so we need to increase that without, so to speak, killing the goose that bears the golden egg.
Yes. Let's come to politics and the hard questions. You were governor, and you failed in your bid to come back twice. Now you want to be senator. Why did you go down?
Many reasons. In many journeys in life are a function, or they depend on many factors. There's a day you did an exam and you did well, and you did another exam and you didn't do very well.
Yes.
Doesn't mean you became stupid.
Yeah.
You are the same person. But conditions and circumstances make you perform well today and not perform well tomorrow. And then you put right those things that went wrong, and you surge forward. That is the way life is. The last elections in 2022, we had a number of confusions that led to our not doing well. The confusion in Azimio, for example, where they fielded two candidates, and that was fairly beyond me. That was one big problem. The current governor and I were in the same Azimio. We didn't get to a point where we sat together to say one of us vies and the other one doesn't vie. And it was a problem with the top leadership.
Yes.
And So that is one reason, yeah. And now we know better. Now we are thinking more pragmatically, and we don't want to repeat the same mistakes. So what happened last time is that the current governor got X number of votes and I got Y number of votes, and they were not very far apart. Maybe if I was not there or he was not there, one Azimio candidate would have done a lot better, or not.
Yes.
We don't know, but that was one big problem. And in 2017, again, it was the issue of being in the opposition. We had the Kifaranga thing of 54% and whatever. The rest is history.
Yes.
I want to become a senator next year if Wananchi give me a chance. And I have learned my mistakes. And I still believe that Kajiado had the best leadership so far in me, in my term. And I still believe a lot of people out there, as they keep telling me, believe that I did a good job, and they still believe in me, and that I can become a great senator who is going to provide oversight and who is going to pinpoint all these things that need to be done better, because I know the county as good as anybody who knows it very well, if not the best actually, because I have done what I did, and I have walked across and driven across every part of this county, and I know the issues very well, and so I believe I would make a great senator.
You talk about the mistakes that you made fielding two candidates or more than one candidate from the same coalition. You are poised to repeat the same mistake, because in your camp you have yourself and you have Kiroken as top contenders for the Senate under one party in one coalition. Is that not another problem for you?
I don't think it's going to be a big problem. I actually don't see both of us going to the ballot within the same party. I don't see that happening again. Yeah, it's going to be one of us, and so I don't think that's going to be a repeat.
Okay.
Yeah.
You are arguably the best governor that Kajiado ever got. You now support Kato for governor. Was it because of convenience, or you saw quality in him that he can make a good governor?
Both.
Governor, you are in the Kato team, the Kato camp. There has been allegations that within the team, Kato has been supporting all of you. There were rumors that he bought you a car. How are you going to oversight someone that bought you a car?
That is a rumor. It's good you said it's a rumor. So, and you should have said, supposing that were right, would you still go ahead and oversight somebody that did it? And it's a rumor, and anybody can decide to believe what it is, or whether it's a rumor or whether it's true or not. But I want to do a job for the county, to oversight the county. And in politics, there will be so many rumors about somebody giving you what and doing this for you and doing this for you. But the true test comes when you sit on that seat and do your job. You can only gauge me against a job that I have been given. But if you were to look, along the line, how many people have supported me, there are so many people who will support me, others will not support me. But when we get to the job, you test me against the terms of reference for that job.
You are poised to face off with Lenku again for the third time, because he also wants Senate. Do you believe that you will beat him this time around?
Very well, I will. I will, and I want to tell him to bring it on, and we've learned our mistakes, and we have sealed our loopholes, and I am prepared for this fight, and he will be shocked.
In Kajiado, the style of politicking is different from different camps. People say that Lenku thrives on clanism. Others say that so and so thrives in the politic of age groups and age sets. What is your style of politicking? What is your strategy to win votes? Do you want to win votes by bringing or putting people in certain groups, or do you want to explain yourself to the people that wherever or whichever group you belong to, this is how leadership should be found?
At least I have a track record, and I have done something that everybody in this county knows. Not really everybody, but majority of the people in this county know. And I have been on the top leadership, and I worked, and I have a track record, and I want to use that as the base for pitching my competition in the next year elections. So I want people to look at not really this issue of clanism and age sets and all that. Those things are there, but to a lesser extent. But I think the one thing that stands out is that both Lengu and I have a track record. You know, everybody knows what Lengu has done or has not done, and they know what I have done or not done. They can judge us from that before bringing in other things. And I know some people will look at clans, but even some people who have there before seen clanism as a big deal now know that it's not a big deal, because when you don't have water in a village, whether you're in clan X or Y, and the leader you have at the top is from your clan, whether you are from whichever clan, there's no good road, all the people in all the clans are in trouble. So these problems do not choose along clans or along age sets, and people have known that because they've gone through a lot of problems. And people certainly know that things can be better. You can have better planned towns, you can have cabros, you can have water or fresh water in some towns, you can have street lights, and that makes life bearable. And there are many people also in this county who don't really subscribe to this school of thought of clans and sub-clans and age sets, because it doesn't make sense to them.
The same clanism problem, Daktari, has gotten into the young generation. And it's something that is so destructive, because the county will end up having leaders not based on merit, but based on where they're coming from and which clan they belong to. Because you'll find leaders with incompetence in their leadership, but they are put to power by people who have the wrong voting pattern. What do you make of the electorate of Kajiado? Are they under-informed about how to choose their leaders?
The problem with democracy is that it's not perfect. Even in the most developed countries, you still find pockets of inconsistency that kind of digress from the things we learned in our textbooks about democracy. Look at America, look at everywhere else, you will see some people going too much to the right, too much to the left. So what do you make of those people? I mean, you know, everything happens within that period, because the thinking of a period is influenced by many things. So even in this county, like in many other counties, there are biases, there are fears, there are beliefs that shape people's decisions. Whether or not that is something that can be sustained over time is another matter. It's an argument that you can argue over and over and over. However, I actually think that we need, for those people who really understand about services being offered to Mwananchi and how governments are supposed to work and help people to do better and to make life more bearable and to facilitate what Mwananchi is doing and to enable Mwananchi to do better, then we should think about these things in moderation so that we don't hype the issue of clanism and imagine that there is a way you can have only your clansmen from A to Z, or only your clansmen or your age group. So whether it's a youth or the older people, because the older people also have their own downside, because sometimes they tend to inculcate these things in the youth, and the youth have their own downside because sometimes they pick up these things and they take them to be gospel truth, and after some time they realize that it's not sustainable to think of every person in the leadership becoming youthful or just of your own clan. Yeah. It is a mix. It is a give and take. You will have, because somebody is lucky there, you'll have somebody who is not from a very big clan becoming a leader. Because, or another one who is not very young becoming a leader, or another one who, you will always have that mix because things don't always, life does not move in straight lines. Yeah.
The good Dr. David Nkedianye, former governor Kajiado County and Senate aspirant in next year's general elections, here on the LifePod with Jeremy, a show that brings you quality conversations. Daktari, what if in your camp they decide that it's not you who is going for the Senate? Are you going to graciously accept that?
So when you say, what if in your camp they, and I have an issue with that they, what do you mean they?
The camp leadership.
I'm among the camp leadership. So
it can't happen.
So if we decide, and I will be part of that decision, then it's okay. Then it means that we have given concurrence.
Graciously decided.
Yeah.
Well, and I think the quality of leadership that you portray is lacking in Kajiado, because not everybody will say, I'll graciously accept, not even to vie. But most leaders will never accept such words to come from their mouths, because they will always be rigid and adamant that it's either me or me.
Yeah, but it's also likely that if they were to decide not to have me, then they would have decided not to have that seat, because I believe I'm the best candidate. So if at any point they decided they didn't want the seat, it's very likely they would decide not to have me.
Here in this show, we wish you all the best. And we believe that maybe if you'll come, we believe that Kajiado, we might go back to our days where we enjoyed devolution, because we believe that you also are a champion for devolution when you were the governor, and also now that you want to be senator. Actually, when you are, or you will be senator, we believe that it's going to be even better, because you will be championing for more resources and for the security and the fidelity of the devolution, especially in our county. So we wish you all the best.
Better days are coming. We are heading there.
Yes.
Yeah, I look forward to that, and I'm very optimistic that things will be positive. Yeah.
Talk to me about the issue of Kibiko. What do you know about Kibiko and what is happening?
Two factions led by brothers fighting for parcels of land, each saying that they need to be at the helm. They need to share out that land. It's a shame that it has degenerated into what it has become. Very ugly situation. And I'm on record actually as saying that, asking the leadership to be sober as they handle that issue, because this is brother against brother, and they need to be very sober. It's not about political camps. It's about being fair and just making sure that everybody has something, whoever has the right to get something, and that even those who cannot have as much as they want are also treated fairly. However, they are the ones at the helm and they know the tiny details. I don't know the tiny details, you know, how many people are being moved from their parcel of land, how many are claiming more than they should, because those are the issues that are coming out. But I would really request that there be sobriety and that they treat all those people with the respect that they deserve. Yeah, and avoid any bloodshed. Yeah.
Do you think there is outside interference on the matter?
When you mean outside, do you mean like some people from
any
Tanzania
quarter,
come into...
from maybe the national government, from Nairobi, or from within the county?
No, I don't think anything would be done in isolation because the registration of titles is done at the lands registration office, and I know it goes all the way to the ministry. So it cannot be done in isolation. But nobody is doing everything alone, whether it's one camp or the other. And when I ask for sobriety and reasonableness, it's everybody who is involved to just make sure that they do things that the Mwananchi actually expects them to do in a fair way. Yeah.
Has Lenko ever called you for advice?
To asking me for advice?
Yes.
No. I can't remember. I think my memory is still very good, but I can't remember in one time.
Okay. What does that mean?
Could mean many things. Maybe every time he thinks of calling me, he realizes he has an answer that he wanted to seek, or that he never thinks of calling me.
Former Governor Dr. David Nkedianye here on the show, on the LifePod with Jeremy. We are discussing matters so much quality in terms of his leadership and his past, his track record as the first governor of Kajiado County. Governor, we wish you all the best.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for making your time for the show. I want you to face that camera and give your parting shot to the people and why you think they should elect you.
Thank you so much. I'd like to ask the people of Kajiado that this is Dr. David Nkedianye, your first governor who set up this county. And I want you to be optimistic with life. Like all of us are fighting for something better tomorrow. Let us know that it's not all gone. We will be there next year, God willing. And I'm vying for the position of senator for Kajiado County. Remember me, and I have a track record, and I promise that I will not let you down, just like I didn't let you down when I started this county as the first governor. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Governor. Asante kwa kuja.
Thank you so much.
Really appreciate your time.
Thank you so
much.
much.
Wish you all the best.